Welcome back. In this series of videos we'll have a look at manipulating CSV files using Python, writing to spreadsheet files, reading from spreadsheet files, searching spreadsheet files, everything Python and CSV. All of the code and data for this video can be downloaded for free from computersciencecafe.com, so be sure to check it out. Let's get coding. Okay, so the first thing we need to look at is making sure our file is actually saved as a CSV file. Now, CSV stands for comma separated value, and that's a standard format for spreadsheet files. It simply means that each element within that is separated with a comma. So I have a file done in Microsoft Excel here. You might be using Google Sheets, whichever is no problem. What you need to make sure is that when you save it as a .csv rather than an Excel file, for example. If you were to open that file in something like Microsoft Word or Notepad or anything like that, you will see that each of the elements within that file is separated with a comma. Now, if that's not the case, we can change the delimiter, and I will do this at the end of this video, just in case you have any problems. Okay, so making sure your file is saved as a CSV. Like I said, these documents are available on the website, so you can free to use this one if you want. Okay, task 2 here, after you've made sure your file is saved as a CSV, we're simply going to open the file using with open and read the contents. So before we start, we need to import, if I can spell import CSV, which is the module we use for reading them, and then we can open that file. So if I give this a variable name, so I'm just going to call this file, and then use the method of open, and then here the single quotation marks. My file is called activities.csv, so whatever your file is called. Remember, you must put the extension in there, and then I can close the brackets. I can then, for this task, just simply print the entire sheet. So I can do a loop. So I can do, for example, for line is just a variable, in file, then I can print line. And then if I run this now, and there we have it, that's the entire spreadsheet accessed and printed. Now, one thing to remember is that in my case here, this file is saved in the same file location that my Python file is saved. If it's in a different location, then you may need to pass in the location of the file wherever you have it saved. However, with mine, my CSV file is saved in the same folder as my Python file, so I don't need to pass in that location. Okay, next, if you simply want to read the file, then this file open is absolutely fine to use. However, if you want to manipulate the file a little bit more, then there's a different method we can use. Okay, so this time we'll have a look at printing specific rows or columns, etc. And we'll open it a slightly different way. So this time with open, and then again pass in the file name, CSV, and this time I'm going to stipulate that I am reading the file. So this is R. In the next video we'll write the file and we'll change this R to W, and then I need to give this a variable. So again, if I call it file, so I'm using open to open this file, I'm going to read it, and I'm giving it a variable called file. Now you'll see that Python has automatically put an indent here, so everything now is within this method. So this is a file containing sport, so I'm going to create a new variable. I'll call this sports, and then use the CSV reader to read my file. Next I can do similar to, oops, I missed the equal sign. So equals, next I can do similar to the previous one here, except I'll stipulate the row to print. So for example, if I do for row in, this time we call sports, and then I can print, let's say we print row, and then I'll pass in, we'll print row 2. And we run this, and here we have just the row 2 which contains the activity level. Again, if I was to swap and do row 3, run again, and then we have the activity description. Okay, cool. So now moving on to the last task in this video, which is searching and printing all the activities that contain beginners. So I can copy this because actually most of it's the same, so I'll copy this and put that there, and then this can be commented out. Okay, in fact what we'll do, we'll allow the user to decide. So I can ask the user, I can say something like level equals, and then take an input, and then ask the user what level they want to find. What level do you want to view, for example, question. Okay. In fact, because all my activity levels are title case here, which means they are starting with an uppercase letter and then going into lowercase letters, I will change the user's input to title case. So whatever the user types in, whether they type in all caps or lowercase, it will change their input to title case to match the same format as on the spreadsheet here. Okay, so again, I've got with open activities read as file. Again, sports equals CSV reader of file, and then I can keep for row in sports. So I can now say if row 2 is equal to and level being the variable that has stored the value that the user has typed in, then I can simply print the row. So hopefully now this will print just the row that contains the value that the user has typed in. So let's run this, and if I type in here beginner, and that has just found all the activities where the level is beginner. I will just try this again, and I'll type in advanced. And let's do it advanced, and there we have advanced, and you can see that I typed in uppercase, and this .title changed that to title case. Okay, so there we have it. Simply opening a file using the file open method, opening a file and looking at various columns using the with open method, and passing in that we are reading a file, and then the last task here is just searching for values within the spreadsheet. I hope you found this video useful. Why not check out the next for more methods of using CSV with Python.